Flexibility
Hmm.
and the ability to evolve and change. Many different aspects of that, including the technology, other things, circumstances. You just can't stay in one place. You got to keep moving.
You're watching the Spotlight Network, starring Hollywood's newsman, Logan Crawford.
They now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into the winning mindset of Charles Richardson. He has penned a powerful book. It is called Achieving Success in the Workplace and in Life. He is a seasoned executive, educator, and cultural visionary. And in the book, Richardson shares real-world wisdom to help readers thrive in business and beyond. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank you for joining us on our show today, and we ask you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channels and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Charles, thanks so much for joining me here today.
Thanks, Logan. Glad to be here.
What do you believe is the single biggest key to success?
Wow. Flexibility.
Hmm.
And the ability to evolve and change. Many different aspects of that, including the technology, other things, circumstances. You just can't stay in one place. You got to keep moving.
Exactly. The only constant is change, as they say. And I agree, being adaptable, being able to roll with the punches, and being able to change is absolutely key. How has your background in mathematics and marketing influenced your approach to business?
Yeah, when you look back, it's interesting because you're either spiritual or you're not. And I am a spiritual person, and there's a very weaving path, if you will, and altogether, though, I think it's made me obviously who I am today. But it's given me an ability to do numerous things, not just one thing. So I've been working in the finance area. I've worked in the marketing area. I'm writing, but as a academic, we write a lot in terms of those kinds of things. But in the book, just kind of evolved from there. So the flexibility and the ability to adapt as we go along. We never know what's happening around the block, but it'll come on and it'll be a new thing. And we face that every day nowadays with technology and other issues.
Especially the advent of AI, that's a new game changer that turns things 180 degrees for sure. What advice would you give to young professionals entering today's workforce?
Well, I think the first thing is taking your education seriously and focus more on the knowledge than the grade. A lot of people worry about what your GPA is, but you can maneuver that a little bit, but not necessarily take away what you need out of the classroom. So other thing, obviously, is flexibility. And then one of the things I talk to my students all the time is to read. It doesn't have to necessarily be a book. It could be something more technology driven in the sense of looking online. But I think if anything, has helped me get to where I am, is I started reading at a very young age and have not stopped. So I read all kinds of different things, and interesting. I'm a science fiction fan, and you look back at science fiction, the technology shows a lot of what we're doing today. They don't necessarily get the personality stuff as well, but they get the technology pretty much right on point.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, look at Minority Report with Tom Cruise. So many of the big screens that are involved, facial recognition, retinal scans, all of it is here right now. And it was envisioned first, of course, in sci-fi. So you're absolutely right there. Let's talk about emotional intelligence. What role does emotional intelligence play when it comes to workplace success?
We'll have to see if machines take over completely, but until that happens, we're dealing with people. Yeah. And I think particularly in the corporate world, we may overlook that in the sense of how do we take care of the people that work in this institution in order to get the most out of them. I think most people want to be considered, they want to be appreciated, and if you make them feel that way, they'll kind of go to the end of the earth for you. If you just kind of look at it, well, here's a guy working, we'll get another guy next week, this kind of thing. It doesn't really last in the long term. So I think that's the biggest thing, just learning how to treat people. Again, technology, I think, has deleted that a little bit, but treating people like taking it a long way.
Exactly. You treat them right, they'll treat you right.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that in most cases, that's for sure. How has your experience with AT&T shaped your leadership style?
Well, it was quite a journey in a sense, and most people, if you're too young nowadays, you don't know the history of AT&T, but it used to be a monopoly, and it was a monopoly because the government saw that it was not make sense to have a multitude of companies trying to link up the telephone infrastructure, so they gave them the job to do that, and in that sense, it was almost a guaranteed of a certain amount of profit, basically around 12, 13% on anything you did. But it allowed me in about 25 years to have a lot of different jobs. So I've run even from the area of marketing into the area of finance, into the area of other things. And it's, I think, make me a much well-rounded person, particularly as I approach, education. I teach certain things, mostly it's marketing and international business, but I can also teach finance because of my experience and some education that I got in order to be more productive in that area.
Absolutely, absolutely makes for a well-rounded individual, a well-rounded business leader, and a well-rounded educator. Let's talk a little bit about mentorship. Talk to us about the importance of mentorship in achieving success.
Well, I'm not sure where I'd be without the mentors that I've had. And if any of you are listening, I appreciate you still. And I spend a lot of time, in the academic space, not just in quote teaching my students, but I basically treat them as if they were my child and what I would want. So as a parent, I've got two sons. I know what I want for my sons. When you drop them off at school, you're not going to be able to be there every day. These people drop them off and they put them in our hands and they're expecting a result. That is a well-rounded person, good citizen, and a person that's going to be able to go out there and create a living for themselves. And so I take it very personally, if you will, and enjoy that idea in the sense that if I do this right, it kind of gives me a couple points on the heaven scale, if that's where we're going. And that I, did good things while I was here, and I have a real good experience, in relationship with the students even after they're done. So I still continue to talk with them. They'll may call me for some advice once in a while, and it just kind of shows the impact of what you can do in a relatively simple thing, which I think is taken for granted in a sense of what teachers can do and how they do it if they do it well.
Exactly. And a lot of people are happy to be mentors. So for the younger people out there in the workforce, or even people in their middle years, find that mentor to show you the rope, to show you around, to show you how it's done, to introduce you to the culture of the organization. It's going to benefit you greatly. Let's talk about art and cultural advocacy. It's been a big part of your life. How has it impacted your worldview?
It just gives you, as in quote a mathematician, you kind of the nerd in the back of the room punching the numbers and sliding them under the door. And so I think these other areas, reading everything from science fiction to you name it, and the artistic area just puts a different perspective on almost everything you're doing. And you could be looking at sculptures, you could be talking about painting, abstract. It's just another area, which I think also is very beneficial when you get to work, because you want to have some things to talk about with your coworkers, and whether that's music, certainly art is another one. And in the book, we kind of talk about that ability to talk about these things, which don't seem to have any real relationship to work, but it's part of the human factor of joining people and having them feel comfortable being around you, talking about the same kind of things. And so when we talk about my students, I try to do more than just talk about what's in the textbook. I try to talk about more holistic living, if you will. And I've come to the point now, because my students are not generally reading, I offer my students, I will, if you pick a book, I'll buy it for you.
Great.
And so it's a small investment, but I think it goes a long way.
Absolutely. Talk to us a little bit about Richardson Gallery and Diaspora Imagery.
Yeah. And the gallery goes back quite a while. I bought my first house and I decided, I guess, I wanted to decorate. And so I immediately ran out to go to the store, and I couldn't find any ethnic art, you know. And so I started doing some research, and that's where sort of the marketing came in. It says there's a business opportunity here. And so 35 years ago, I started a business that primarily, but not exclusively, deal with African American art and art from the African diaspora. And so I learned a little bit about it. And I guess as an educator, took a line where I'm helping my clients understand two things: what this art is and what should it cost. Because you don't want to overpay, and you need to know that if you like Jacob Lawrence originals, you're going to be up there in 5-6 figures. If you like posters, might be $20, but if that's the piece you like, nobody can tell you you should be spending more money. You could sit in your house and love that $20 piece and it'd be just fine.
Exactly. It's what connects with you, what ignites your imagination, what brings you peace, comfort, and joy. What legacy do you hope your work, both in writing, education, and business, leaves behind?
I guess in the memory, in a sense, he was not a selfish guy. His life was about helping people, whether it's educational or whatever it might be. And that, as I do with some of my faculty that I had to learn under, I can understand how they changed my life. And if I can get you even to be more serious about being in school, it's a good path to get on. So did he make a contribution? And I hope I already have, and I hope we'll continue to do that.
Absolutely. You have many, many contributions to make, no doubt, and this book is among them. It is called Achieving Success in the Workplace and Life. It is written by a seasoned executive, educator, and cultural visionary. And in the book, he shares real-life wisdom that helps readers thrive in business and beyond. Charles, thanks so much for joining me here today.
Logan, my pleasure. I mean, really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed speaking with you as well, sir. I appreciate your insight, your wisdom, and your great heart. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time until next time on Spotlight.